So, starting chant. ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्ट्वागशस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः. Mundaka Upanishad, almost towards the end. Now the Upanishad is describing the state of liberation, how a liberated person live, what their experience is like, how they interact with the world, how their mental state is. So in the last mantra 3.2.5, we saw Upanishad says that these Vishayas, these seers, illumined people, they are jnana-triptaha. They are content. They have become content and satisfied with, not with material possessions or other things which we covet, which we think will make us satisfied, but they become satisfied with their life because of knowledge, jnana. It's simple as that, the knowledge that we are not finite, we are limitless. This knowledge is the ultimate giver of contentment. That we are not these simple, these little, these limited beings, but we are limitless. This is a great source of contentment. Interestingly, I was reading a book, just got a book called Freely Determined. Freely Determined. So there, the psychologists have put out a formula of happiness, happiness formula, or formula for well-being, subjective well-being, subjective well-being. It says that subjective well-being is positive emotions plus life satisfaction minus negative emotions. Okay, how many positive emotions we have, positive mood, and also how much satisfied we feel about our life. This satisfaction thing is quite subjective, quite subjective. It cannot be objectively measured. We may think about that these are the things which will make people satisfied, but they may not. And situations or circumstances which we might think is unsatisfactory can be quite satisfactory for someone. Okay. So jnana-triptaḥ, these sages, these Rishayah, they are content with the blessings of the knowledge, blessing of the knowledge. Plus krito atmanah, they are established in their spiritual self. Okay, that is, in their background of their mind, they have this firm idea that they are not limited, this body and mind, but they are infinite. They are spiritual self, atma. So kritātmana, they are established in their spiritual self. Then vitaraga. Vitaraga is they have gone beyond cravings, cravings for enjoyment. It does not mean that their life is now lacking in entertainment, they are against joy of life. No, not at all. But the cravings that all of us have for things or experiences, that is gone in them. And finally, praṣāntāḥ. They are very peaceful. And this praṣāntāḥ, if you remember, Shantaha means those who are in peace. Prashantaha distinguishes this peace from inner peace. Okay, so Prashantaha, these sages, these illumined people, they become very calm and serene because of this knowledge. Prashantaha. So that's the peace, the inner peace, which is unbroken. Unbroken. So four qualities or four characteristics of rishis, the sages, the seers, illumined people we found in the last mantra. So today also we shall continue with that a illumined person, some more characteristics about them will be spoken, plus the concept of final liberation. Final liberation, which idea we came across in Isha Upanishad as well as Mundaka Upanaishad and also in Kena Upanishad, the idea of videha mukti. The idea is that a illumined person becomes, with the dawn of knowledge, they become free. They become free from the all dualities, free from the clutch of ignorance, if we say, or non-recognition of the true spiritual identity. That is gone, they become free. But again, they don't die immediately. They are still embodied being. Okay. So although they live a spiritually free life, but ultimate liberation happens when their body drops off. What happens? The difference between us and between them is this, that when we die, according to the Upanishads, our subtle body, which is nothing but our mind, our impressions, all of these, they carry over. They go, it's just like leaving a house and going to another house and placing our old stuff in the new closet, new living room, new garage, new backyard. We take all these things packed in different boxes. We buy boxes from Home Depot to mark them, kitchen utensils, and then books and maybe school diaries, all of this. We take all of these boxes, go to the new house, open these boxes, and again place them where they are supposed to go. For us, this is the way. But for the illumined one, as soon as the body drops off, the subtle body also disintegrates. There is nothing to go from here to there. Okay. All of them go back to their sources, where they came from. The sources are nothing but five elements. Okay. The five elements, which are the building blocks of the entire universe, they go back to them. For us, they don't disintegrate. For them, all of this disintegrates. So there is no future birth, no future dwelling. This house is broken, so also they are also kind of gotten free. This is the idea that we shall see in the next 2-3 verses, that one is some spiritual qualities, characteristics of these illumined people, as well as what happens at the time of their death. The idea of videha mukti, the idea of final liberation. Okay. That is the subject of the next 3 verses. Let's take a look. Okay. Mantra 3.2.6. Vedanta vijñāna suniścitārthāḥ. Saṃnyāsa yogāt yatayaḥ śuddha sattvāḥ. Te brahma lokeṣu parānta kāle parāmṛtāḥ parimucyanti sarve. Those who are firmly established in the true knowledge of Vedanta, ascetics dedicated to the path of renunciation with purified minds, at the end of time, in the realms of Brahman, attain supreme immortality and are completely liberated. Completely liberated. So wonderful ideas have been conveyed in this mantra about these species, the illumined people. They say that these illumined people show some qualities. One is a firm understanding of the Vedantic truth. Understanding means what? We shall see in a moment. Then they were extremely dedicated to their goal, and they had a pure mind, a purified mind. Okay. So Vedanta vijñāna suniścitārthāḥ. This is a total phrase. These three words make a phrase, which means that the true essence of Vedanta, or the spiritual knowledge that Vedanta is going to give, that has been well understood. Well, and not only well understood, but it has been well assimilated. Well assimilated. It is just like mastering a subject after years of study and application. It takes years to master a subject, and when we have finally mastered the subject, we get a true essence, understanding, of even about a skill, music skill or any other skill. After many years of practice, how it feels when we have really got grasps the essence of the skill. That is, when we learn a skill, it appears, it comes in different parts, different steps, different aspects of the skill. All of them appear different from each other. But when we have attained some level of mastery, we feel like we understand the essence of this skill. What is the true essence, or what is the key to the skill? There is only one key, and this key may differ from person to person. I mean, they may try to understand that one skill through different lenses, but all it boils down to that they get the essence of the thing. Okay, and that is what they focus. And that is what they focus when they are showing extraordinary level of mastery over the subject. For example, those who plays musical instruments, and who have practiced for many years, after some time when they play, it's become a flow activity, right? Flow. That is, they are as if flowing with the current. Effortlessly, they are playing that. They are no more paying attention to different aspects of the instrument or different other rhythms or patterns, but all they are concerned with is one particular idea or essence in which they are totally lost. Okay, this can give some idea about Vedanta vijñāna. Vedanta vijñāna suniścitārthāḥ. They have really mastered the subject and assimilated the essence of it. And what is that Vedanta vijñāna? Nothing, with which we have started our Upanishad, the parāmṛtāḥ, spiritual life. So now, what has happened to these illumined people, that it has become, this knowledge has become their own. It is no longer an intellectual understanding of the Upanishad. It is now their own knowledge. And how do you know its own knowledge? That sometimes they will explain all of this in a very simple language. Very simple language, and so simple and the so same time so direct. And so direct, so simple language, unconventionally also they can sometimes uh, express their knowledge about spiritual reality. Hmm. So it has become their own. Sri Ramakrishna gave the example that some people have heard about milk, some has seen the milk, and some has drank the milk and got the nutrition from the milk. So these people, these illumined people, Vishaya, they have not only seen or heard the truth, but they have made this truth their own. And now they have got strength out of this knowledge. And this is very important. This is important from practical standpoint, that spiritual knowledge should help us when we need them the most. Is not it? Spiritual knowledge, whether it has become my own or it is still at the level of intellectualization, the great test will be when we are in duress, when we are in crisis. Is that spiritual knowledge helping me, giving me strength to forbear or even gracefully go through all these problems? That's the test, whether spiritual knowledge has become integrated, assimilated in our life. And at the crisis moments only, we shall see they sometimes fail to assist us. So these sages, they have assimilated the knowledge, and so it has become part of themselves, and it has made them strong. Then another characteristic of these people is they are śuddha sattva. That is, their sattva means their mind. Śuddha sattva means their mind is pure, pure mind. What does pure mind means? Just like a clean glass of water which reflects the light clearly. Similarly, your pure mind, which is free from impurities like ignorance, anger, hankering, greed, envy, such a pure mind reflect the light of truth. You may think of the analogy of that the light is already within, and what is in between me and the light is the mind, like a lamp covered by a glass. Okay, and how clean the glass is, that will decide how much of light is reflected, or how much light is refracted rather. Similarly, these sages, these illumined people, their mind is pure, and so they reflect the light of truth unobstructed. But what is the reason behind the purity of mind? It says saṃnyāsa yogāt, through the yoga of saṃnyāsa, the path of renunciation. We saw it earlier, yatayaḥ. So here, what does really mean saṃnyāsa yoga? Saṃnyāsa yoga, what does it mean? Does it mean that then everybody has to give up all of their relationships and belongings and embrace a monastic life? It is not like that. Saṃnyāsa yoga means letting go of other goals. Okay, letting go of other goals, but keeping spiritual goal the most important priority, number one priority of life. Other goals will be subservient to this goal. So again, what sannyasa means? Sannyasa means where the topmost priority is the spiritual goal. Spiritual goal. Okay. So what historically happened is at that time Indian society, the fourth stage of life, saṃnyāsa, is when people totally dedicated themselves for spiritual pursuits or spiritual knowledge. That became known to be the saṃnyāsa ashrama. So saṃnyāsa is actually a lifestyle. Okay, we should say a lifestyle. The lifestyle, what kind of lifestyle? Where we let go of other goals in the service of the main goal. So we are focused on spiritual goal the most. If that is the case, if we let go of other desires, other goals, and keep spiritual goal as the topmost goal, that itself purifies the mind. This yoga means what? Concentration. One meaning of yoga is concentration. So sannyasa yoga means concentration on the spiritual area. Other goals will be subservient to that. That is what purifies us. So sannyasa yoga is nothing but just like decluttering a home. True renunciation means removing unnecessary attachments so that we can create a space for clarity and peace. So renunciation here does not mean just giving up everything, but transcendence of our ego and desires and attachments to things which don't serve our spiritual purpose on the whole. And we know in our life there are so many things which we know are not serving our purpose well, but we are still clinging onto them. Sannyasa yoga means letting them go. And this letting them go itself is not a virtue. We should remember. Letting go of them for the service of a higher goal, a spiritual goal, a transcendent goal, then only letting go become meaningful, fruitful. Sannyasa yoga. And if we can do that, what happens? Shuddha sattvāḥ, mind becomes pure. Mind becomes pure. And then these immortal souls are called parāmṛtāḥ, parānta kāle, at the time of end time, that is at the time of physical death, what happens to them? Parimucyanti sarve. Parimucyanti. Here also the choice of the word parimucyanti. Mucyanti means they get liberated. Parimucyanti means totally liberated. Totally liberated. So what is the difference between liberated and totally liberated? Now you should be able to answer. Please go ahead.
They don't come back. They are not reborn.
Yeah. Yeah. So just the idea of final liberation, the videha mukti, right? Videha mukti. That this is their last. I mean, although they were spiritually free, still they were conditioned by their phenomenal existence. They still had a body and mind to take care of. That is gone, and they now just as a space contained in the pot becomes the all-pervading space when the pot is broken. Similarly, for this illumined person, they all their existence, when the pot is broken forever, they achieve complete liberation. And brahma lokeṣu, brahma lokeṣu, they parimucyanti, that they becomes one with the spiritual reality, Brahman or Purusha. So they lose their individuality and they merge with the infinite ocean of existence, knowledge, and bliss, Satchit Ananda, Brahman or Mundaka Upanishad has called this reality as Purusha or Akshara. They merge with Brahman awareness. They merge with Brahman awareness. That these are the characteristics of an illumined person. What? That they have grasped the true essence of Vedanta, the knowledge of Vedanta, the paravidya. And since they have assimilated, integrated this knowledge, they have become strong. This knowledge has made them strong. Then their mind is pure because of the dedication to their spiritual ideal. And because of this dedication, their mind becomes pure. They are free from other impurities, and such a mind reflect the knowledge, reflect the spiritual self clearly. And they, at the time of their physical death, they merge with the infinite Brahman. Okay. Next, they will talk about how this integration happens, and also they will give an analogy. Yes, go ahead, ask your questions. Please ask. Yeah. Yeah.
Pranams Maharaj.
Yes.
So Maharaj, this purity of mind that we acquire when we take up sannyas, my question is that isn't there also a great degree of purity required to even go towards sannyas, to let go to that extent?
Yeah, of course. They are complementary to each other, feed each other. And to really let go of unnecessary desires, it itself is a state of purity, state of purity. But here they have framed it this way, that once we start letting go of unnecessary attachments and desires, then mind becomes purified.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yeah. They are, these are very complementary things. They feed on each other. Yes.
So Maharaj, in the Jivan Mukta stage, where they are still in the body, they are still liberated, right? They just have the body, but they are liberated. For them, this world doesn't really exist the way we say it.
Yeah, exactly. Unmute, please. Mrs. Mukherjee, you have to unmute. Yeah.
So it happens only with this element persons, the Videha Mukti. It doesn't happen with generally everybody cannot be out of this, the whole everything, out of all desires and all everything. So this mukti, that rebirth is has to happen. And then why avatars, that our Thakur and all other avatars, when they had their mukti, what was that mukti? Because he said that he will come back, and they come back. They come for our our knowledge and to liberate us. So what is that? How
can we
what is
that? Who would
Yes,
like to answer? Who would like to answer this question? I am sure some of you will be able to answer this question.
They have a special mission. They don't take birth like we do because of karma. They come here for a mission, and they go, and they can come at will. They can come back.
Yeah. Even further.
You're an avatar, right? Avatar.
Yes. Go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the same as a human because that is an avatar.
Yes, 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 true. That is also true.
Are their karmas all exhausted, that get exhausted fully?
Hmm.
Does it
Yeah.
happen, or they have something sanchit?
So idea of avatar will not fit into this. Okay, avatars are the idea of not dualistic, right? Okay. So when we are talking about avatars or divine incarnations, we should not subject them to this kind of scrutiny. That since they have taken birth, that means they are under the influence of karma. They did not get liberation. So in Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says that others take birth to work out their karma, but divine incarnations don't take birth to work out their karma. It is they were happily. It's a force or energy that comes down. Okay, that comes down for the good of others, not to work out, exhaust their own karma. Okay, it's a different level of uh, spiritual experience altogether. So Sri Ramakrishna used to say that these illumined people at the first place, they were not illumined, they were baddha, they are they were organic first, but with spiritual practices they became jnani or illumined. But there are some people who are never nitya mukta. They are never under the clutch of ignorance. Okay, they are so master player that they don't have to play the game, but they can just come whenever they like and take part in the game as it where they are part of the game. But they are the Lord of the Rings. Okay, they are the Lord of the Rings. They don't have to go through all of these spiritual practice. I mean, they are not subject to all this type of ignorance and all of this, but they still show spiritual practices. They do spiritual practices to set examples for others. Okay, set example for others. Otherwise, we would simply say that, well, they are divine incarnations, so they are of different categories, so their life is irrelevant to us. Hmm. But they, according to the Avadara concept, that they don't need anything, but play. They just play as it were they are like us, human beings. So they want to suppress their superhuman qualities. They want to downplay and they want to show that they are just like us. But although they may try hard, but their superhuman qualities show up in different stages of their life. For example, all the divine avatars from early age of from a very early age, early on, it appears they have a firm mission in their life, and it's a spiritual mission in life. They don't means from the very beginning they are into spiritual life and have a spiritual mission, a larger mission. It can be seen in them. Okay, so to answer your question, avatars are not subject to this kind of vidha mukti, jivan mukti, and all of them. They are a category altogether different. Okay.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yeah. So avatara is not a concept of non-dual Vedanta. Okay. Avatara is a concept of dualistic Vedanta.
Hmm.
Swamiji,
Yes.
when you were talking earlier on about how when you get to become this Videha Mukti, you lose the renunciation is not like, leaving this this world that we know in and going off into the forest, or being a monastic or something like that. It could be just reducing or not having the cravings. And you said also an aspect of having what I thought was very similar to like people who are very much people of faith, who have this who rely.
Yeah.
And so that being the case, and I was wondering if the converse was also true. If if a person who is like has so much of devotion and
dedication.
that gives them the confidence to deal with all the worldly trials, so to speak. Is that, I mean, is that, I mean, you sort of answered it earlier on when you said these things are, they
Interrelated.
circular,
Interrelated.
interrelated.
Yeah, but the thing is that I understand what you mean, that to have that kind of dedication also, you need some degree of knowledge, some degree
Right.
of conviction. So what comes first?
Yeah, that's basically what
Yeah,
this is
that
basically
basically
my
what you
question.
are telling, that what comes first.
Yeah.
That we should be awakened to have dedication and purity of mind and letting go, or other way around. So we have to think about it, what is in our hand. Okay. So for us, we have to go through the process of practice, sadhana. And sadhana means it is not an easy thing. Sadhana means it will require effort. Okay, mind will love to watch Netflix. Okay, mind will now want to endless scroll through the reels. But it will require effort to take mind away from these reels and continuous feed and to say focus on Upanishad. Okay. One can simply say, I don't have that kind of, mental state
And give up.
to enjoy Upanishad. But we have to practice, we have to practice the initial pull, initial effort, initial struggle. That is the letting go part, which is difficult, which is really difficult. But they build up, just like any good habits and build up over time. Similarly, the art of letting go also becomes more and more natural. And as it happens, so also our insight about the Upanishad, our grasp of the Upanishad, our understanding of the Upanishad, or spiritual life in general become much more clear. Clarity. Okay. So what is in our hand is letting go. Okay.
It was really good because this particular stanza is there in the Vedic Arti when you welcome a monastic, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so you understand it just in that sense,
Context.
but when
Yeah,
you read it at the end of the Upanishad, it takes
yeah,
on more meaning.
yeah, exactly.
Because when you started chanting, I was like, oh my gosh, I know this.
Yeah,
And then I realized, but we've just been saying it almost like just in the literal sense of what it means. But when you do it at the end of the Upanishad, it has so much more
yeah.
import.
The background of the Upanishad. The Upanishad is culminating almost into this mantra. Yeah. And let's remember that who is giving this knowledge? Not a monk. Shaunaka went to a teacher, right? Shaunaka went to the teacher, and the teacher was a householder. He is telling saṃnyāsa yoga. And moreover, what he is telling is not theoretical something. These are his own experiences of life. So that means it does not mean we have to, it's a really a monastic life or a formal monastic life. What it means is give up unnecessary attachments and desire and focus on the spiritual idea. That will give purity of the mind. If mind is pure, every spiritual practice is like that. It will the purity of the mind, and according to non-dual Vedanta, if the mind is pure, then it will automatically reflect or refract the light of spirit, light of spirit. So that is the idea. Okay, so let's move on to the next verse. Is it okay, or you want to have any other clarification?
Well, I was going to say, just going to say that, but however, the monastic life gives you more opportunities to focus wholly on this.
No doubt about that. No doubt about that. Okay. There's no doubt about that. It is a formal embracing this life means I am declaring that spiritual goal is my topmost priority. Okay. And now there is no going back. I cannot say that no, spiritual goal is not my goal. I have other goals in my life because I have embraced this life, and this life is going to be should help me, to focus on that goal. There is no doubt about that. It is just like wearing a uniform. You can go to a hospital as a doctor without wearing a uniform, but if you wear a uniform, there is something boost in the mind too. That I'm in uniform, I am a doctor, that kind of, that works in the background of the mind. But again, just embracing monastic life does not guarantee anything. One has to work out. One has to really, really work out as hard as everyone else. Because these attachments and desires, they take subtle forms and different shape, and sometimes difficult to even understand that these are attachments or desires because they are not in gross form. They are appearing in something very comfortable things. Maybe I am thinking these will help me in spiritual life, but actually it is not. Actually, I am really feeding my ego, of monastic ego. These are all problems that always there, also in monastic life. All right. So,
Maharaj, a quick question. I'm sorry.
yeah, no, go ahead, please.
Okay. So just during this discussion, I have never looked at it this way. The vision that Sri Ramakrishna had about Swamiji, Swamiji's descent on earth. So when this discussion was going on about the avatar having like a special mission and things like that, and this thought occurred that this vision itself, if we are to take Thakur's word, if we have faith in Thakur that it is a true vision, then does it also, can we derive hints from this about an avatar not having like a prarabdha or being in a very separate type of category,
Yeah,
and not just as a story about how Swamiji came down to earth or something like that? Yeah.
exactly. Uh, those are beyond, our logic or our explanation. If Sri Ramakrishna had vision like Swami Vivekananda is coming down. By the way, in Germany, we have a center and many people come for retreats. So, and teenager asked the Swami there, if Swami Vivekananda was part of 7 sages, Sri Ramakrishna had the vision that 7 sages were meditating, and Swami Vivekananda was one of them. And Sri Ramakrishna persuaded him to come down. So this teenager asks, if Swami Vivekananda came down, then the 7 sages became 6, right? And is not it. So there are no more 7 sages. As Hinduism says, there are 7 great sages. So then our Swami in Germany, he had to answer very intelligently. He said, it is not cut and copy, it is copy and paste. Okay, so it was the 7 sage remained the original 7 sage. It was not a cut and copy, it was a copy and paste. So this teenager was satisfied. So Sri Ramakrishna's vision about Swami Vivekananda is coming down, these are beyond our understanding. Okay. If we have faith, we have to take it that way. So the idea is that they are not bound to come down. Okay. They come down out of their will. Okay, now the Upanishad says what happens at the time of death, at the time of Videha Mukti, of these illumined people when they die, what happens? Gatāḥ, kalāḥ, pañcadaśa pratiṣṭhā. Devāḥ ca sarve prati devatāsu. Karmāṇi vijñāna mayah ca atmā. Pare abbaye sarve eki bhavanti. The 15 energies merge into their respective bases, and all the deities merge into their corresponding cosmic principles. Actions and the conscious self merge into the supreme, imperishable reality where all become one. It's interesting. Here we come an idea which says that for such a illumined person, there are 15 kalāḥ, 15 parts. 15 parts of them go back to their respective causes from which they came. And also their sense organs merge into their sources. So a question comes, what are these 15 constituents, pañcadaśa kalāḥ, 15 ingredients the Upanishad is speaking about? At first it appeared to me the subtle body, which has got 17 or 18 constituents, right? 5 sense organs, 5 motor organs. Then what else makes the subtle body? Do you remember?
5 pranas.
5 vital energies, 5 pranas, and
4 antahkarana.
Antakarana.
Yeah, antakarana is counted as 1 or 2.
1.
The inner organ, that is basically mind. So sometimes they are distinguished mind, intellect, and ego. Sometimes they are said they are considered one because they say that these are functional differences, not real differences in mind. The same stuff work as mind sometimes, work as intellect, work as ego. So are these the constituents of the body or constituents of the illumined person they are speaking about? No, they are not. So here comes an idea from another Upanishad. The Upanishad is Prashna Upanishad. Prashna Upanishad. Very short Upanishad. So there, how do we know? Because Shankaracharya is referring to that these 50 elements are nothing but which have been mentioned in Prashna Upanishad. In Prashna Upanishad, the mantra says that a human personality is made up of 16 ingredients, 16 constituents. 16, okay. Here is also a paradox. 16, but here the Upanishad is talking about 15. Okay, so we shall take care of that. What happened to one constituent? So the idea is this Upanishad is telling 15 parts of the jnani, illumined person, merge into their respective causes. So what are those 15? What are those 15 parts? So it is in the Prashna Upanishad, mantra 6.4. 6.4. What does it say? Okay. Mantra 60. One is prana. All the energies have been mentioned by only one name, prana. Then faith or belief, śuddha. Akasha, space, air, fire, water, earth, senses, mind, food, strength, contemplation, mantra, karma, words, and name. Name. Okay. I'll share with you in the document the names. So we have to take it as it is. So suddenly, the Upanishad interjects these 15 elements, 16 elements. Energy, senses, then our belief, our mantras, then different worlds. Different worlds means here, different level of our mental worlds that we inhabit, different levels as it were throughout our life. Even throughout the day, sometimes our mind is in some level, at some time at other level. These are considered to be a world in themselves. Okay. And finally, nama, name. Our name is part of who we are. Shankaracharya opines that for a jnani, when they die, all these 15 elements, 15 elements go back to their respective sources. All of them came from nature. They go back to nature. What does not go back? Name. Their name remain in the world. Their name, they become famous or people remember even over the ages. Their name don't got extinguished. This is the idea. So Prashna Upanishad 16 constituents, and among them, the 15 of them go back to their sources, but the name of the illumined person keep on living among others. Okay, and devata. The second point is what? Devāḥ cha sarve prati devatāsu. So you know the word deva, it means deities. Okay. The root of the word is deep, that is something that is shining. So Upanishad had the idea that all our sense organs, they have some shining principle. That is why they are giving us knowledge. Every sense organ bringing us some knowledge. It is as it were, they are shining light on things, shining lights of things. So they say that each sense organ is like a deity, like a devata. As it were, behind each sense organ, there is a shining principle, which is making things happen, through which we are learning things, learning new things, hearing things, smelling things, all of these are all, each is a sensation, each is also knowledge. So knowledge, whenever there is knowledge, Upanishad always think of light, you know. Even we know that even cartoons show that someone has understood something, a bulb suddenly illumines the light of knowledge. So what happens to all the sense organs? All these sense organs, which are manifestation of shining principles, they go back to their cosmic shining principles. So as it were, there are many micro deities who are behind each sense organ. Okay, behind each sense organ. And these deities, at the time of Videha Mukti or final liberation, they go back to their cosmic counterparts. Cosmic. If you remember, the whole Vedanta has two dimensions. One is micro dimension, what is within us, and macro, the cosmic dimension. Vyashti, samashti, individual aspect, cosmic aspect. And Vedanta says that whatever is in the individual is also in the cosmic. So all of these sense organs are also have a cosmic counterpart. And since my identity is now no longer tied up to this body and mind, then what happens? There is no one to claim these mini deities as individualized mini deities. They go back to their cosmic counterparts, cosmic sources.
Swami, would that be like collective consciousness?
Yes, collective.
Okay.
Collective.
Okay.
You may think of collective sources of energy, collective, right? And all accumulated karmas also. And that it's a idea we have come across again and again, that an illumined persons, all the karmas have been burned down because of loss of this individuality or lack of ego. So all their karmas, which were like bank accounts, accumulating in bank accounts, and suddenly there was no one to claim all that accumulated. So all of them gets destroyed, extinguished, karmāṇi. Okay, so karmāṇi, all accumulated karmas got destroyed, and vijñāna atma pare abhaye sarve iti bhavan. So and then the individual self, the embodied self, the idea of I am this is called vijñāna atma. That is the atma which is identified or limited by buddhi or knowledge, which gives a sense of I am this, I am that. That sense of separation also goes away. It is just like a river merging into the ocean. In fact, the next verse is just like that. Next verse, let's take a quick look, then we shall take questions for both the verses together. Next verse is a nice analogy for this mantra that we read. The analogy is yatayaḥ nadyāḥ syandamānaḥ samudre astam gachanti nama rupe vihaya tatha vidvān nama rupat vimuktaḥ parat param puruṣam upaiti divyam. Just as rivers flowing merge into the ocean, giving up their names and forms, so too the wise one, freed from names and forms, attains the divine being that is beyond the beyond. Beyond the beyond, okay, the parimucyanti. It's just an analogy that a river, it had a name and a form, but when it gets merged into the ocean, the individuality is normal. So our every name, every form, every role we have, every relationship we have, these are all names and forms. These only help us to foster our individuality, our separation, gives us some upadhi, attribute, and each attribute is actually separating, right? Each attribute we add to us actually separate each other from us, is not it? So for a jnani, all these attributes are gone, individual name and form identity is gone, like a river, they merge into the ocean, never to come back. And interestingly, the river was always in the ocean. It was only the sun that pulled it up, made it cloud, let it rain, flow through the mountain as snow, melt, become river, and again go to the ocean. So the river was, to start with, was the ocean, and again merging into the ocean. So this, in yoga, this integration of every principle is called pratiṣṭhā. 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 That is, in English, it is involution. Involution. Evolution is, starting from something and it goes bigger, 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 and it evolves. Involution is going back, just the reverse order. Big bang, then they say big crunch. Big crunch. All of these again go back to singularity. Similarly, for a illumined person, in yoga, a yogi who has, had Nirvikalpa Samadhi, Asampragyata Samadhi, and finally got identity with Purusha, then what happens is, for them also, mukti is pratiṣṭhā. All of mind will disintegrate, all the sense organs will disintegrate and go back to nature. And what will happen? They will then establish in their true self. They will be established in their true self, the Purusha or Brahman. All right, so we found even shower water really is the ocean. Indeed, even shower water is the ocean. True, coming from ocean itself. Yeah, true. All right, Subhash, what question do you have?
So Maharaj, this says in the verse, it says in the literal translation, when the karmas along with the individual self go to Brahman. So karma doesn't get burned, but it goes to Brahman. Is that what it is saying?
Yeah. It's burn down means what? Will there be a fire which will really burn? These are all metaphorical, symbolic things. And ultimately, if source of everything is the Brahman, so where will they go back? They will go back there itself.
Okay.
Yes, pretty.
No, Maharaj.
Yeah.
So maybe kind of a dumb question, but so when everything for a realized person just goes back to it, like there's so when we say really that for again this is in the context of an avatara, that Thakur, Ma, Swamiji, Swami Brahmananda, and some of the direct disciples also, they exist in their subtle form. They have given, the body is gone. So now, could that be said also of any jiva who actually becomes a realized soul at some point and becomes a jivan mukta, and then, or is this only for an avatara that who still exists in the subtle form and does not go through this?
Yeah, exactly. So different viewpoints about this, depending upon from which worldview we are considering. As from pure non-dual Vedanta, they don't have any idea, concept of living in subtle bodies. And I mean, these illumined people, after Vidaha Mukti, they are gone, they are erased. Their name only remain in the world, but their individual identity is gone. But from faith traditions, or even Ramanuja's tradition, they accept that these advanced spiritual people, they continue to exist in a subtle form and continue to inspire people spiritually, help people, continue to help them, other spiritual seekers when they need help, or even just subtly they keep on inspiring them, helping our other spiritual seekers. Okay, so no decided answer can be given to this. Okay, from a devotee's perspective, devotee would love to have cherished this idea that their spiritual ideals are subtly present with them, inspiring them and helping them. That's why devotees also pray to all these spiritual people and spiritual personalities and ideas. Okay. My point is simple. If it works for you, go for it. If it helps you, if it give you strength, give peace of mind, we need not so much worry about the explanation. Okay. If it helps, go for it. If it does not hurt anybody, it does not make you weaker, these beliefs and ideas, go for it. Embrace them. Embrace them.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, for some people, Maharaj, and they get visions of their spiritual
Yeah,
gurus.
exactly. People can get vision, and by that I don't mean hallucination, real vision. Okay, real vision. They can really, it can happen. Real vision can happen, and they get inspiration out of these visions. They get a sense that really, really, these spiritual personalities exist for them. They cannot prove it to others, but they exist for them. Okay. All right, so our next class will be after about 2 months on 21st March. Okay, I'm going to India in 10 days. And next Friday, we have a celebration here, birthday of Swami Brahmananda. That's why we cannot have the class. So today is the last class before I go to India. And I return on March the 14th, which is a Friday, I think. So I won't be able to give the class. I'll be in jet lag. So next Friday, that is 21st March, will be our next class. But what I would like to recommend to you is to reflect on the Upanishad, and the reflection will be like this. Reflect on 3 ideas from Mundaka Upanishad, which you have found insightful or practical or unique to this Upanishad, or combination of all of these. Okay. For example, some of you may reflect on 3 insights of Mundaka Upanishad. That's okay. That is up to you. Some might think of, okay, 2 insights from the Upanishad I liked, and 1 practical idea of the Upanishad I liked. Some might think, no, I would go for the unique concepts in this Upanishad which I have not found anywhere else. I will list those 3, okay, or 1 of them. So it is all up to you. Reflect 3 ideas. And if you can, also write it down why you liked this insight, or why you found it practical, or why did you find it unique. So this reflection is a must for all of you. Okay. And what is optional is sharing in the class, or share with me personally by email. And this is optional, totally optional, whether you'd like to share, or you may like to share only with me, not with the others in the class. But I will encourage. In the past, we have seen that in the past, this sharing has been extremely beneficial for all of us. It not only clarified our understanding of the Upanishad, but when we shared, others also, we learned from each other. Is not it? What we started with our class with, that 4 quarters of spiritual knowledge comes with 4 quarters. There are 4 quarters. Those who have joined later on, for them, I am repeating that spiritual knowledge or scriptural knowledge has 4 quarters. 1 quarter comes from the teacher. Another quarter comes from the student's own effort. 3rd quarter comes from the fellow students. Fellow students help to understand the Upanishad or any spiritual scripture with a different light, more clarity. And finally, it takes time. Time is the fourth quarter. Okay. So I would encourage you to reflect, and it will be wonderful to hear from you, because I also learned so much from your sharings, your takes on the Upanishad. And that is the reason I love this exercise. Okay. So I will also, in the email that I send, I will share the same question that I put before you, the reflection part. Okay, take your time, go through the Upanishad slowly, and most importantly, the ideas that have stuck with you. Okay, and then reflect 3 ideas, 2 months almost you have got. Okay, so start immediately. Otherwise, if you think I have time, then you will forget. Okay, start rather immediately, finish it quickly. Then over the time, go back and see whether you would like to change. And you will be surprised that week to week, you may even like to change what you have reflected, what you have written. New perspective has come to you. So go back, write down, jot down again. Okay. But finish the exercise soon, within 7 or 10 days, the bulk of the exercise. Okay. Then from there, you keep on polishing it, honing it. And finally, you can hear it from you on our next class. Okay. So let's say Shanti, 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 and see you in 2 months. 2 months. Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yes. Okay. Let's say Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Okay.
Om Shanti Shanti.
Shanti. Om peace, peace. Thank you to all of you.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yes.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Swami.
Maharaj.
Have a wonderful trip. We will
Thank
miss
you.
you.
Yes, yes.
Thank
Maharaj,
you,
have a safe
Swami.
trip. Wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah. Those who live in Sacramento, they will get to see the photos and videos, because soon after my coming, I will give a talk. The talk is there and then. This is all about the pictures and videos that I will take in India, in different places. Okay, and explain with context. Okay. Okay.
Pranam Maharaj.
Yes. See you.
Pranam, Swami.